The red and blue lights of two police cruisers flash across my living room, turning our cozy Wyoming ranch into the set of a gritty crime drama. My 13-year-old daughter, Emily, clutches a faded photo of her mother, the last tether to a time before cancer stole her from us. She presses against me, her voice barely a whisper. "Dad, are they here for me?" Outside, the HOA president, Margaret Voss, points at our house like she's fingering a suspect in a lineup. I've never even had a parking ticket, yet here we are, center stage in a neighborhood showdown. This isn't just a house to us. This ranch in Claymore County is where Emily took her first wobbly steps on the porch, where we spread her mother's ashes among the wildflowers, where every fence post and floorboard carries the weight of our sweat and promises. I'm not just any dad standing behind these curtains. I'm Sheriff Daniel Harper, back 2 days early from a 3-week assignment in Cheyenne, and Margaret has no idea who she's messing with. Margaret stands with the officers, her navy blazer pristine despite the early hour, gesturing at our home with the flair of a TV lawyer. "That man left for military duty and abandoned his poor daughter," she declares, her voice ringing with the certainty of someone who's already convicted me in her mind. She doesn't know I've been watching her for days, noting her obsessive behavior, parking at our driveway's edge, snapping photos of our property, even staring at Emily with a predator's focus when my girl dares to step into our yard. Emily tugs at my flannel, the same shirt I wore when I got the call 3 years ago that Laura, my wife, wouldn't come home from the hospital. "Are we in trouble, Dad?" she asks, her brown eyes Laura's eyes wide with fear. I kneel to her level, keeping my voice steady. "No, sweetheart. Some folks get things mixed up, but I'll handle it." Through the window, I see Margaret filming the scene, her phone capturing what she thinks will be her triumph. She doesn't care about Emily's safety. She sees our ranch, our horses, our weathered fence. Our modest homie is a blight on her perfect suburban vision. This land is our history. Laura and I chose to raise Emily free, where she could learn responsibility, tending animals, and where nosy neighbors couldn't dictate our lives. Margaret, though, thinks she can erase that because our lifestyle doesn't fit her HOA rulebook. As a 14-year veteran of law enforcement, I've seen her type before people who dress up personal grudges as public service. But this time, it's my daughter in the crosshairs, and that changes everything. The knock comes, and Officer Tom Reynolds, a young deputy I know from the department, stands at our door, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. Behind him, Margaret records, practically vibrating with anticipation. Emily clings to me, and I feel the weight of protecting her settle like a familiar coat. I've spent 3 years rebuilding her sense of safety since Laura's death. I'll be damned if some power-hungry busybody tears that down. The next morning, Margaret's car door slams at 7 a.m. sharp. From the kitchen window, I watch her unpack what looks like a harassment starter kit: camera, clipboard, canvas bag stuffed with papers. She's dressed in that same blazer, her gray hair in a bun so tight it must hurt, her face set in grim determination. "Today, I'm documenting violations in our pristine community," she announces to her phone, filming like she's breaking a major scandal. She spends the morning measuring our fence, recording horse sounds, and knocking on neighbors' doors, whispering about the danger my family poses. Emily spots her through the window, and the light drains from her face. "She's back," she says, stepping back as if to make herself invisible. I make her favorite blueberry pancakes, trying to keep our routine normal, but the tension is palpable. Margaret's campaign is systematic, almost impressive in its obsession: team of stamps, measurements, neighbor testimony. She's building a case to drive us out. When Emily wants to check on the horses, she hesitates at the door. It's a crisp Wyoming morning, the kind that begs for kids to run wild, but my daughter fears her yard. The moment she steps onto the porch, Margaret's voice slices through the air. "Young lady, you shouldn't be out there. It's not safe." Emily bolts back inside, diving into my arms. "Dad, why does she keep yelling at me?" she asks, her voice trembling. The protective rage I've honed over years of police work surges. This woman isn't just a nuisance, she's terrorizing my child. I dig into Margaret's past, using my sheriff's resources. What I find chills me. In 2018, she hounded the Wilson family out of their home with endless complaints. In 2020, the Garcia family fled after similar tactics. Margaret targets families she deems undesirable, escalating from petty gripes to false reports until they break or leave. Her social media paints her as a neighborhood hero, her posts filled with photos and videos of her evidence. To the unaware, she looks like a concerned citizen. To me, she's a serial harasser. By noon, Emily avoids any window Margaret might see. My daughter, who once ran free across our 8 acres, is a prisoner in her own home. Margaret's detailed log of Emily's movements when she goes outside, what she does, how long she stays is the concern. It's stalking. She thinks I'm still away, believing Emily is alone, which makes her actions even more sinister. As evening falls, I overhear her on another call, her voice sharp with intent. Tomorrow, she'll escalate, and I'll have to decide how long I can let this go on. Morning brings Margaret's boldest move yet. From our fence line, she calls 911, her voice laced with fake panic. There's a 13-year-old girl in danger. Her father abandoned her for military duty. I hear distress from the house. She looks malnourished, living in filth with dangerous animals. Every word is a lie, delivered with such conviction that dispatch sends units immediately. Emily, eating pancakes at the kitchen table, hears the sirens and freezes. "Dad, they're coming again," she whispers, shaking. That's it. Not Margaret's lies about me, not her harassment, but the terror in my daughter's eyes pushes me over the edge. I kneel beside her. "Listen, sweetheart. There's a misunderstanding, but Daddy's got this. Stay calm and trust me." She nods, tears brimming. When Officer Reynolds knocks, I open the door with a calm I don't feel. "Morning, Tom. I think there's been a mix-up. My daughter's fine, having breakfast." Emily waves shyly, the picture of health. Margaret swoops in, feigning shock. "Oh, you're back? I had no idea. I was so worried about little Emily, all alone." Reynolds isn't buying it. "Ma'am, you reported distress and immediate danger. Everything looks fine." Margaret pivots. "I was just being cautious. Better safe than sorry, right?" Reynolds checks the call history, and the truth unravels. 4 calls in a week, all from her, alleging everything from HOA violations to child neglect. Margaret's facade cracks as Reynolds presses her. "You didn't know he was home? What distress did you hear?" She stumbles, contradicting herself. "I'm protecting community standards," she snaps. "That ranch drags down property values." There it is her real motive, not Emily's safety, but control. Neighbors gather, some recording, others murmuring. Emily whispers, "Dad, why is she lying?" I lean down. Some folks confuse what they want with what's true. Officer Reynolds will sort it out. Margaret, cornered, dials up the chaos, calling the sheriff's office, animal control, even the health department. Within minutes, our ranch is a circus deputies, inspectors, and Margaret directing them like a deranged conductor. As HOA president, I've documented child endangerment, animal issues, health violations, she declares, live streaming to her followers. The health inspector looks baffled by our clean property. The animal control officer notes our healthy horses. My deputies exchange knowing glances. This is a farce. Emily's tears as another vehicle arrives break me. I step onto the porch, her hand in mine, and face the crowd. Margaret, mid-monologue, points at me. "That's the man neglecting his daughter and our community." I pull out my wallet, flashing my sheriff's badge high. I'm Sheriff Daniel Harper of Claymore County, and it's time everyone knew what's happening. The yard erupts. Deputies snap to attention, calling out "Sheriff." Officials freeze, realizing they've been investigating their boss. Margaret's face cycles through shock, disbelief, then terror. Her phone wavers as she stammers. "That's impossible. I didn't know." I turn to Reynolds. "Tom, you have evidence for charges: false emergency calls, harassment, filing false reports, public disturbance." He nods, pulling out handcuffs. Margaret backs away, shrieking. This is entrapment. I was protecting the community. But Reynolds reads her rights as the crowd watches, her live stream capturing her arrest. Comments flood in, from shock to glee. Her HOA sign crashes to the ground, shattering. Emily looks up, all replacing fear. "Dad, you're the sheriff?" I lift her. "I am, sweetheart. And I make sure no one hurts families like ours." I address the crowd. This is what happens when harassment and lies replace neighborly respect. Ms. Voss faces serious charges, and this behavior won't be tolerated. Neighbors who backed Margaret look ashamed. Others testify about her tactics. Over 2 months, Margaret gets 6 months probation, mandatory counseling, and a restraining order. The HOA elects new leadership focused on community, not control. Her viral arrest video hits 800,000 views, a cautionary tale of overreach. Emily plays freely again, her laughter filling our ranch. She tells friends her dad's the sheriff, proud of our secret until the right moment. Our home remains our sanctuary, untouched by those who think they know better. As I watch Emily chase horses under the Wyoming sun, I think of Margaret's lesson: never assume you know who you're targeting. Sometimes, the quiet guy in flannel is the sheriff, and justice comes with handcuffs and a viral video. This didn't have to happen. If Margaret had respected boundaries, she'd still be living her life, not facing consequences. But some folks learn the hard way: mess with a sheriff's family, and the world will see who you are. What do you think? Have you faced injustice or bullying in your community? Share your thoughts below, especially on how we handle conflict and fairness. Take a stand, let's hear your perspective.